We're with Neil Sackmary of Nevada Coin Mart. And Neil, talk to me a little bit about how your store is different from others.
Well, it's really an honor to be able to be in your presence. You've been such an icon here in Las Vegas for a long time that we've sat here and just had the greatest conversation. And as I said to you in the beginning, it's about doing the best business, but this is who I am. And so Nevada Coin Mart actually is a very unique thing because Nevada Coin Mart is centrally located here in Las Vegas on the corner of Jones and Flamingo, open 365 days a year from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And so it provides a really nice way for clients to come in and sell what they have, whether it be gold, jewelry, silver jewelry, costume jewelry, coins, bullion, any type of paper currency or collectibles.
How did you get into the business, but go back even further? At what point did you realize you had an entrepreneurial side?
So it's really cool. So when I was growing up, and at 9 years old, the principal called my mom and said, I was making more money than the principal because I would, back then they had a company called Macro, and I would go there and I would actually buy the candy, the blow pops and all that stuff, and I would actually sell it, to all the kids in school until they started sticking the gum under the desks and stuff like this. And so really it has never not been there. My mom owned her own company and has always instilled that in me, so I've always had it from the very young age all the way up until now.
And you grew up in Pennsylvania?
Right, I grew up in Pennsylvania. I had a nice childhood. I had my horse. My mom used to saddle up and drive. I used to ride him up the driveway. It was a lot of fun. I was a volunteer firefighter. It was a really wonderful place to grow up. I had 6.5 acres. I used to go in the backyard and play by the stream and all that stuff. And so I think it's really important that it really helps further along in your life that type of childhood.
Neil, talk about your journey from Pennsylvania to how you ended up here and when.
Sure. So in 1995, I left Pennsylvania, went out to California, went to GIA, which is the Gemological Institute of America, did my residency in Santa Monica. It was a really wonderful opportunity. I had a lot of opportunity to meet a lot of wonderful people. In my class, it was really cool because they were the richest families in the world in the jewelry industry. And so they sent all their kids there to actually come and hang out and, meet each other and things like that. And so we got a really wonderful opportunity to hang out and spend time together. And then in 1996, I moved to Las Vegas. My buddy's father owned 2 corporations here in Las Vegas, one in Caesar's Palace and one in the Belts Mall. What happened was that I ran those companies, and we used to do a lot of buying and a lot of selling of jewelry.
And you decided to start on your own?
Right. So, the thing is that I did that for a while. In 1999, I left Las Vegas and moved to New York. I opened up, and I was one of the first 4 companies to sell diamonds on the internet. And so it was me, Mondera.com, Diamond.com, BlueNile.com, and the name of my company was DiamondSafe.com. And so I went, and it was really cool because at that time my partner was from Israel. And so we used to import the diamonds. But in 1999, the best part about it was that we used to laser inscribe the certificate number on the diamond. So when you got the diamond and you got the certificate, you knew that the 2 things matched. Nowadays, it's pretty much standard operating procedure by the laboratories, but back then it wasn't. And so the really cool thing is that I was revolutionizing the diamond business back then.
And you started at this location how long ago?
So September 21st of last year, of 2015, my wife and I had the opportunity to take over the Citibank, which is what we're in, which is the former Citibank on the corner of Jones and Flamingo, 4065 South Jones. And so we had the opportunity to take this over and really take what it is that I've been doing for the last almost 10 years and really expand on it and make a lot more people happy.
And I believe you mentioned something about how many boxes of stuff that you
Yeah,
moved
sure.
in here
So,
with.
so it's really cool. At where I had my cases before, to move everything over to the Citibank. So it took 20 hours to move the showcases with nothing in them. It took 16 hours to put the showcases against the wall. There's about 30,000 pounds of rock just in the showcases. But the really cool thing is that they're all natural rocks. They're all geodes. They're all quartz. It's not like just junky stuff that's thrown together. There's beautiful specimen pieces. And so it really is, when I tell people I have the most beautiful store, and I think people are really egotistical, and they, everybody thinks they have the most beautiful store. And I don't say it to be egotistical, I just know that I have the most beautiful store.
Well, speaking of rocks, give us the background on these two.
Sure. So we were talking before we went on camera, and so now I was really excited to tell you the story about this. People come from all over to do business with me because they enjoy to do business. So this guy came in and had this wrapped in a green army duffel bag. And he walked in with this, holding it in one hand. And he said, "You're Neil?" And I said, "Yes." Stone cold killer eyes. And said, "I was told by my friend to sell this to you." And I said, "Okay, what is it?" And he goes, "You want to see the most beautiful thing ever?" And I said, "Yes." He goes, "This has been under our bed for 30 years, and we were told never to talk about it." And I looked at it, and I said, "This is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen." And so he sold this to me.
This is
And this
40
is
some pounds?
49 and a half pounds, one piece of turquoise. It's the largest piece of turquoise from Black Mountain Mine here in Nevada. I have a GIA certificate that it is not treated in any way. And this is 111,000 carats.
Oh my.
Next to you, so maybe 2 or 3 weeks later, the guy comes in that told him to sell this to me. Excuse me. He had a briefcase that had the handcuffs, and he had the opal inside. And he puts it on the counter, and he says, "Do you want to buy this?" And we made a deal, and he undid the handcuffs because he had the security behind him, and gave me the custom-made briefcase, which I still have, and that's a 9,000 carat black opal. And so this is just one of the cool things that is in my store when it is that you want to come in.
And these are for sale?
No, so I sell nothing. The only thing that Nevada Coin Mart sells is I sell coins, bullion, and currency. When it comes to everything else in the store, nothing in the store is for sale. It's really about this. When a client comes in, I want them to be as happy as possible. Unfortunately, what happens is this. Clients come in, and it's hard for some clients. I mean, at the end of the day, some clients don't need the money. They're downsizing, they're decluttering, they've reached that age in life. They don't have a 5-bedroom house anymore, they have a 1-bedroom apartment, whatever it is. And so what happens is that we will look through all the items, okay? But what happens is that we are really able to change people's lives every day. And so Nevada Coin Mart, that is one of the bigger differences, is that what it is that we do, we really make a difference in the community, we make a difference in the shopping center, we make a difference everywhere.
And this came from where?
So this is an Australian black opal, and this came from Australia. And it's a beautiful piece. But the thing is this, that clients come in, now these pieces here, like I was telling you the story, right? But I could go through when it comes to the case and tell you about, every piece in there. But every single piece in the store, somebody came in and sold to me. And so when we look at what pieces do we have, my client, her father was won all these horse races. I have his championship trophies, sterling silver, handmade from Cartier in 1923. Her children told her to take them and throw them in the trash. And so when we look at the world and we look at what it is that we're doing, unfortunately, most people are just not as sentimental as we once were. And for that reason, the younger generations that are coming up, they'd rather have an iPhone, rather than have stuff like this, because they don't want it. And so that's where we run into, clients come in and they go, well, I'd like to sell this to you because you will appreciate it. Yes, I will keep it here till the day I die. Now that I'm in this location, I'm never leaving. You know what I mean? Like most people, when they get to a point and they say, well, I want to go have 3, 4, 5 stores because you're doing good and all this. No. You know what I mean? Like I was telling you beforehand, my wife and I took a very big gamble taking over this huge building, which is almost 4,000 square feet, that is in the most centralized place in Las Vegas, on one of the most busiest intersections in Las Vegas. And so this is not inexpensive. And this operation that I have costs money to run. But the important thing is this: when clients come in and you're straight with them, I need to buy it for this, I need to sell it for this, I need to make something. Most clients are reasonable. They just don't want to get ripped off. And so if you explain to someone, look, that I need to make a reasonable amount of profit, most clients are okay with that. And that's what's allowing the business to do even better.
Neil, I don't know if I asked you, how much did you pay for this?
So this here, it was not a tremendous, like hundreds of thousands of dollars, but it was certainly a more significant amount of money. It's certainly more than a couple cars. Let me say it to you like that.
And the family, relatives, they could come in and visit this. I mean, this is almost like a museum.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Well, so the guy that sold this to me, right behind us here is the steer's head. That steer's head is one of the most famous steer heads because it was written up in all the Arizona highway magazines back in the 70s that had all the turquoise and stuff like this, and they owned that as well. And so clients come in and sell me things because they know that I'll appreciate them. When we were talking before, I mentioned to you about the Howdy Doody. I have the original hand-carved statue from Howdy Doody. A client comes in, and it actually was very funny because the Kachina dolls that you see behind you that are hand-carved, this was done by Frank Gallagher, and his father made that. And that was in a bar in Arizona for 30 years. And it was in front of the No Name Bar. And so when the guy came in and he saw these, and I started telling him about the story of how I got everything, he wanted to sell that to me. But we were talking and laughing because it was like, can you imagine how many people threw up on that? And how many people tried to punch that? And how many people tried to do whatever? But it's a piece of wood, right? So somebody who's punching that is breaking their hand. But somebody came out of the bar, tripped over this thing one night, and was like, this thing's the worst thing ever, punch that thing, and they have a scar from that thing. And so when it comes to the uniqueness of the store, I just bought a phone booth the other day. How many people have a phone booth? My friends are otherwise, nationally signed band. They're very good friends of mine. They're coming this week. Well, unfortunately, when we're doing the taping, people are going to miss it. But they're coming this week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. They play sold-out shows at Sunset Station. But they're coming here to my store to play so my clients can meet them face-to-face.
And what day is that?
That's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of this coming week.
You've also got Big Bird here.
I do have Big Bird. We were talking about him before. It's really cool. The guy who had them, he used to make a lot of money, selling the pictures at the Las Vegas sign. And he unfortunately had a stroke and wasn't able to do it anymore, and was looking for someone to, care for his item. He was trained by Jim Henson. And so it wasn't a matter of just taking what you have and throwing it in the back corner. It's a matter of where can I go and sell something that somebody's going to appreciate what I have? When you come into my store and you see that nothing is for sale, you can then appreciate the fact of, where did all these things come from? And all these things in the store came from somebody selling to me. And so when you come into the store, you know, I have 6 privacy windows, 4 privacy booths, and 1 privacy room here in my store. Sometimes there might be a couple minute wait or 5-minute wait. You know, when you go into a store that has the suite number, you know, you're like crammed in there like a bunch of sardines. And so here you can look around. It's a nice, spacious place, and you know, that means a lot.
Speaking of meaning a lot, you noted that you have a new acquisition on one of your fingers.
I
It
do.
means a lot to you. Tell
I do.
us the history of that.
So David Dunaway, he's a customer that came into the store. You know, we had a great conversation, you know, talking this and that and everything. He came in and sold me his NFL alumni ring. You know, it wasn't for the fact of just for the gold value. You know, everybody else, you know, that's a gold buyer, they buy things and then they put it on the scale, they tell you how much they're going to pay, and then that's it. And then what happens is they sell it for more money than the gold, but you as the customer get ripped. Instead, Nevada Coin Mart buys things on resaleable value. And so for this, I paid him a lot more than the gold value because I told him I was going to wear it. He had the Super Bowl ring and the NFL alumni ring. He sold me the NFL alumni ring, and I always thought, I hope he would sell me the Super Bowl ring. But, you know, when he first brought it in, he didn't want to. He just showed it off, like, you know, and then he sold me his, the entire team signed. You know, he has of all the football cards. And so a couple weeks ago he came in and said, okay, sharpen your pencil. And so I go, okay, and so we went into my private office, we sat down and we talked. And so it wasn't a matter of, look, he didn't have any children. And so it's give the ring to the Hall of Fame, which someone can appreciate, you know what I'm saying? Or can I give it to somebody who's going to appreciate it for what it is? Now, this is the thing, okay? I honor my word. In the Jewish religion, it's called mazal. And that means that you honor your word. If you break mazal, that's all you have in the world, okay? And so when someone comes in and they do something like that, I honor that. You know, I have this, this is a Chrome Hearts bracelet. The guy paid $25,000 for this bracelet. He took it around to every place in town, and they said, we are going to take this and melt it down. And he said, you can't do that. He came to me, I said, listen, I won't melt it. I'll wear it. You know what I mean? And it makes me crazy because I don't have a watch in there. You know what I'm saying? And it's a watch band. But the thing is this, that I do what it is that I say I'm going to do. And so for that reason, you know, he came and he sold it to me over everyone else because that's what I do. I don't just say things, make a deal, and then once the person is gone, it's, you don't know what you're talking about.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Right, absolutely.
Sure.
Not going to happen.
Tell us about, is there some special attachment to the dog tag?
Yeah, so we were talking before, and you asked me about the most sentimental things that I own. I would say to you that I wear my Tiffany bracelet for my wife, and that's right here on my left hand, and that's all about, you know, my wife and everything like that. I have my diamond dog tag, which is for my dog that passed away.
Named Diamond. Yeah.
Named Diamond, and this was his dog tag that he used to wear around the house, and, you know, all that stuff. And I just got this little new loop, and you know, the thing is that clients come in and they sell me these interesting pieces because they know that I will appreciate them for what it is that they are doing. You know, when we go, I'm not at the age yet in my life, but I know this, that when I was moving from my previous place to here, I had my auction guy want to buy every single thing that's in this store. My showcases, you know, all my stuff in here. And so it was very sentimental. And I was literally at about 85 or 90% of the selling. Because selling, then I could have just went back to the fact of just working on the computer and stuff like this. But that's not what it's about. You know what I mean? Like, when we talk about what is the most important thing, the most important thing is obviously taking care of your family and doing the right thing like this. But it's about how do we move forward. And so it was a very difficult time when I did leave the other place.
You talk about doing the right thing. I know that you're very much involved in the community. Talk a little bit about where your heart is as far as Las Vegas community.
Sure. So we do a lot of things here at Nevada Coin Mart. My wife and I are founders of .Vegas, so we own IPOF Vegas. I'm under contract with the Metropolitan Police Department to do the website for the IPOF for the rest of my life. We donated the domain. It's something that's very important. Our police don't get enough help from anybody, and everybody just wants to, do bad things and things like this. Without them, there's nothing. And so we need our police. And so it's just one little thing that I can do.
Talk about how that works, if you would.
Sure. So the thing is that, so it's IPOF.Vegas. It stands for Injured Police Officers Fund. And so I built the website. I do the management. I do the upkeep. I pay for the .Vegas domain for the rest of my life. And anything that it is that they want done according to the website or anything, I do for free. We just did a big event with the IPOF. My friends are nationally signed band Otherwise, and so I had Otherwise here for a week, and I did the event with the IPOF at the same time. And Sergeant, from Nevada Highway Patrol, went on the morning blend with me, and we sat there and we talked about what's important. He's the president. And so when it came to what we did, Eric Lloyd, who's the vice president of the IPOF, came here, and brought some of his fellow officers. We raised a lot of money for them. And so it's about doing the best business and then also giving as much back as we can.
Neil, let's talk about the expertise that you have here at your store.
Sure. So I'm a graduate gemologist from GIA. I am a gold jewelry expert, a sterling silver expert, and a costume jewelry expert, as well as I am a graduate gemologist, as I said, and I am a diamond expert. I have John Jankowski, who is a 50-year coin numismatist here at my store. I have Scott, who is a collectibles expert. No matter what time of the day you come in, I always have a coin expert, collectible expert, and a jewelry expert that knows about all types of jewelry, gold, silver, and costume, on staff 365 days a year from 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. every single day. Yeah, so that's what I was saying, Norm. So the really cool thing is the store. Let me tell you about the store, okay? Nevada Coin Mart is centrally located here on the corner of Jones and Flamingo. I'm in a former bank building. It's 4,000 square feet. There's one way in and one way out. I have armed security at the front door that are all trained in either law enforcement or personal protection or something. Okay? So when a client comes in, they can feel rest assured. In one of my 6 privacy windows or the 4 privacy booths or the private room, no matter what it is, the client can come in. The really cool thing is this. I have a $30,000 X-ray spectrometer that is analyzed and that we put on 3 55-inch monitors. It's not some 27-inch monitor that is very small. Okay? When it comes to me, what it is that people know, I'm not a paid actor, so I do my own commercials. And when it is that I do them, people can come in and they can deal directly with me. When we talk about the building, the reason that it's so important that it's a freestanding store is because when you walk out, you don't have to worry who's to the left and who's to the right. You walk out of the front door, there's your parking. We have 2 handicap spots right in the front with wheelchair access. So it's not like they have to walk upstairs and things like this. It's very, very important to know that all the modern conveniences that we do, that we want to pay the client the most in cash. We want an expert to always look at what they have. We want an expert to always evaluate what they have. And that is what I am, and that is what Nevada Coin Mart does for the community.
Well, I was blown away when I heard you say that you have been on the Morning Blend. How many times?
318 times. And it's a really wonderful experience, to be able to do things with them. As I said, when you look at the veterans thing that I did with Channel 13 in the Morning Blend, I did Operation Fire Heat, which is with Fred, when the children had their houses burned down and needed Christmas gifts. I sponsored the Spring Valley baseball team, the Mets. I was telling you about the Wall of Neil as soon as you come in, which has all the articles that the Chinese newspaper has been written up about me. And the most wonderful thing is doing business with good people. When the opportunity came for you and I to do the interview, on top of which for you and I to be able to do the event, I was so honored and blown away to become a sponsor when you do the Smith Center that I'm really, really looking forward to that.
Well, we're delighted to have you as a sponsor. The Conversations with Norm is over 2 years old now, and our next one is going to be September 25th. And we're really scouting a great person to feature, and I look forward to seeing you there. And can't thank you enough for your time today, and especially for your incredible service to the community. What you do for the public there's a lot of wonderful things that are going on, and thank you for that.
Yeah, thanks a lot for taking the time out of your schedule to come and see me and do this with me, because I know that as busy as you are, you could be doing and talking to anybody you want, and for you to take the time out of your day to come and see me in my store and talk for as long as you have, really, it's an honor on my behalf.
Well, best of luck to you. It's been a pleasure. You bet.
Thanks, Norm.